Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. Of course, we're going to do some makeup, but also I needed to share something with you guys. And I like sharing this stuff just because, number one, I'm a super fan of full transparency. I'm also a super fan of I don't know, just being totally honest. I guess it's synonymous, but I'm just a fan of full transparency. So I want to share some things with you guys. So first of all, I went to this boutique by my house yesterday and I found this book and it's called What Happens When Women Say Yes to God. Okay. And I thought it was interesting because the very first passage, it's just like a really quick, devotional. You don't have to write anything. I usually don't, but, I read it and it says, the very first thing it says is it's called My Story, right? And this is whether or not you're like a religious person, this is cool. It says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives, right? And this is from Genesis 50:20. Okay, so listen. So when I first started as a saint artist, right? Like when I was a private investigator for 18 years, I did surveillance. I was depressed. I was lonely. I was sad, right? So what happened was I accidentally find this saint makeup online and I'm like, that's really stupid. That's ridiculous. No one does your makeup. I thought it was dumb. Well, then I'm like, gotta try it. So I sign up. I become a saint artist without realizing what I was doing. And then the rest was history, right? So what happened was as I started sharing more about the makeup over time, I was like, okay, I guess it's pretty good makeup, whatever. And I started talking about it and people were like, oh my gosh, this is really good makeup. I want to buy it, whatever. Okay, fine, right? So then I was like, well, how can I use this to benefit other people? How can I help other people not feel the way that I felt? Because I remember being in my car doing surveillance by myself. I was lonely. I was sad. I was depressed. I got to a very low that I will not even admit to getting. I got to a very, very, very low. And so many of us, especially mamas, if you've gotten to that point where you're super, super low, where you feel like you are literally at rock bottom because of your feelings or just whatever, you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, I had been the ugly fat girl my whole entire life, right? And that's what everybody called me that for 37 years. It's kind of what it was. That was just kind of in my head. That's what everybody called me. So that was in my head. That's what it was. So I was like, all right, that's it. So over time, as I continued to share about the saint makeup, and I was like, oh, well, let me tell my story, my PI story, and connect with people that way. Maybe they'll connect with me about my job, and it'll be fun to talk about my PI career and, share this makeup that I really like, whatever, okay? Well, then I realized that the more I shared about the makeup and talked about my PI stories, not only were people inspired by the makeup, but they were also inspired about being a private investigator. And women were saying, wait, I can be a PI? I can do that? That's real? Yeah, you can really be a private investigator. And so then I was like, I'm inspiring women to have this job they didn't know they could have, which, by the way, is another reason I love Barbie, because Barbie was back in 1959, Barbie came out, right? And she had more jobs than any man had ever had, right? And so she kind of set the precedent for women having jobs that only men were supposed to have, right? So, thank you. I'll get that color match form should automatically come to you. So if it doesn't, just let me know. So anyways, as I continued to share, I was like, gosh, I don't understand why right now I'm almost 40 and why is God just now after 40 years saying, okay, now I'll give you now I love myself, right? And however God worked in me, whatever, right? Now I really feel a great deep love for myself. And so I feel like as I have been trying to learn more about myself and about my depression and my loneliness and how connecting with other people and other women has really helped me come out of that. What I learned from God after talking to him was he told me, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you. So all the fat and the ugly comments and the you're not good enough, the unworthiness, the feelings of self-doubt, my whole entire life, I was never good enough. I never fit in. I was never popular. No one wanted to be my friend. I wasn't I was just ugly, and everybody made sure to tell me. And they made sure that I felt unworthy. And that was not their problem. It was mine. You're in control of your own feelings, whatever. But at the end of the day, I felt unworthy, right? So anyways, as I was talking to God, he kind of told me over the last year or so, he was like, I didn't do it to you, I did it for you. So that now I see that as a way to use that trauma and that pain that I experienced for 37, 38 years and share that with this platform, this audience that I've been given for I don't know what reason, that somebody blessed me with this audience that, you know, like almost 2 million people across the platforms. And I feel like I'm like the things that happened to me, all the times that I felt sad and lonely and, you know, unworthy, is so that I can share with someone else and maybe inspire someone else and let them know that they're not alone. Because I never had that. I never had someone that I looked up to that said, you know, you're not alone. Like, I got you, girl. I did it all on my own. Thank you. I just got these yesterday at the boutique that I got this book at. Aren't they really pretty? They're the Aramish. Is that how you say it? Aramish? And you like put together your own little stacks. And they're really pretty and they match my shirt. So anyways, so I thought that was really interesting, right? Well, also along the lines of like my saint, like being successful as a saint artist, it was the most success that I found was when people were saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing with me, because I've never felt so confident. Or now, you know, you showed me how to use this makeup. I'd never worn makeup before. And now I can lift my head a little bit higher and it feels good. All of those things, right? And so that to me is success. Not only that, but financial, like with the saint thing, like it's, you know, if I never want to work another day in my life, I don't have to, like, you know? So anyways, so I asked God, I said, why did you bless me like this? Like, why me? Like, I'm not a perfect person. Like, I've done wrong by people. I've lied to people. I've stolen. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, we've done some bad things in our lives, right? He said, I'm not blessing you. I'm blessing them. And I was like, oh, like eureka. Like, oh, I feel you. Okay, Lord, I hear you. He's like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for them. And so then when I found this book, What Happens When Women Say Yes to God, it's just a devotional. It's not, I don't journal because I'm not someone who writes things down because I'm always afraid they're going to like, you know, use it against me. And like, I'm a paranoid freak because I'm a PI. But anyway, so when it said, the very first page said, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done. And I was like, holy crap. So this book is really cool. It's by Lysa TerKeurst. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Lysa, Lysa. If you want the name of this, I'll totally give it to you. But anyways, it's really cool. And it's just 2 pages. Like, it's not a lot of reading, but it's just enough to kind of start your day. So that's what I did this morning. And it says, God untangled my need for approval with the challenge to live for an audience of 1. Holy crap. So like all these years, we're so focused on like the approval of others, right? And the whole devotional, like the whole 2 pages was really, really good, right? And so, but the very first sentence, it said like, I stepped out doing something I felt God called me to do. The voices of criticism and condemnation have been there to greet me. And then she talks about, you'll never be a speaker. You'll never be wanted. Look at you. Do you really think God can use someone like you? And that's where I've been. Like, no one's ever going to love me. Like, I'm the ugly fat girl. Like, I'm not this person. Oh, you've heard of her? This is the first time I've ever heard of her. Anyway, so I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, you know how if you ever go to church and like the preacher starts preaching and you're like, he is talking to me. like, I'm so glad I came today because this is for me. So anyways, I thought it was interesting and it made me think about my business and like what I've been doing. And so if you've ever been someone who's been in direct sales or just ever in a business where you feel like you have to impress other people, I think it's really cool that like, I was just telling my friend and I told my husband, it's called What Happens When Women Say Yes to God. It looks like this. It's sort of just small devotional. It's good. Like, and it's really, really short, nothing crazy. He really does. And so anyways, I was just telling my friend, I said, you know, it was really interesting because I noticed this month that my sales were lower than usual for my Saint business. And it's interesting because when you're in sales, like I never wanted to do sales. I think sales are gross. Her name is Lysa TerKeurst. I don't know how to say it. TerKeurst, and her name is Lysa. So thank you. I'll get that color match form over to you. It should come automatically, but if it doesn't, I'll double check after. So anyways, so this month, like my sales were really low, like the lowest they've ever been, right? And so I was like, that's really interesting because I feel like I'm showing up for my customers and I feel like I offer really great customer service. I firmly believe in good customer service and solid connections and relationships. And I just believe in being a friend to people, even if they don't buy makeup from you, right? Because at the end of the day, you never know when you show up how you're going to impact somebody's life, whether or not they buy makeup from you. Like so many people that are in direct sales or in sales in general, they always focus on the sale and their commission check. But if you stop focusing on that and start focusing on the relationship with people, you could really impact someone's life. Like you could be there. There have been a couple of people who have told me, and also they've messaged the podcast also and said I was this close to ending it all because I don't feel like I'm deserving or worthy or whatever. But because you showed up, you gave me a little bit of inspiration. And I feel like that's so important, right? And so number one, what I wanted to share, like the big message here that I'm trying to get to is that you never know how when you show up, you could really impact someone's life. And so I preach this to my artists. I have a team of about 400 artists that have signed up underneath me. And so they sell the makeup and we work together. We have team meetings and all these things. And a lot of them say, I'm afraid to show up. Like, I'm scared. Like, what will they think of me? And I tell them, I'm like, it's not about you, right? It's about what you have to offer others. Like how can you serve others? How can you save other women from themselves? Like, how can you be someone that when someone pulls up their phone and they pull up their Instagram, because we all do mindless scrolling on the social media apps, right? What if you're the one that they're scrolling and you are saying just the right thing that they need to hear, and they say, that's life-changing. Oh my gosh, I needed to hear that, right? And you never know how you could change someone's life that way. So anyways, I thought that was really interesting and I wanted to share it with you guys. So anyways, I realized that because my sales were low this month, I was like, gosh, I don't know why. So I'm looking back on like what I've posted and how I've connected. My connection's been great, but you know what I did? I stopped posting about my Seint as much. I stopped posting about the product that I love because I thought that it was going to annoy people. So I was doing, and I still love talking about skincare and I still love talking about fashion stuff. Not that I have a sense of fashion, but I'm coming to learn that like my casual, like shorts and t-shirt style is kind of like more people are really appreciating that. Like, where'd you get your t-shirt? I thought you had to dress like with frillies and cute and high heels and like office professional or whatever to do this stuff. But I've just been showing up in my cool tennis shoes and like sharing that stuff. And there's people really like that. And I didn't know that. Anywho, so I was like, well, I don't want to post another makeup video because I'm going to annoy someone, right? Like, I don't want to post another makeup video. So I stopped posting as much makeup videos and I started posting more like lifestyle stuff, right? But Seint Makeup, that's my bread and butter. Like, that's my main job. That's my full-time job is Seint. So what I did was I started taking away the one thing that people were connecting with me on, and they were saying like, hey, I noticed you're not posting, as much makeup videos. And I was really learning a lot from them. Like they're not there anymore. And so over this month when I was like, well, I'm not going to post as much Seint. Maybe people are annoyed, right? I thought people were annoyed. But if people are annoyed by you, they're not your people. They're going to unfollow you. They're going to block you or whatever. And they just weren't your people, and that's fine. But there's other people out there there's a lot of people who follow me for PI stories, right? But I thought, I was like, everybody's just here for the PI stories. Nobody cares about the makeup. So I don't want to shove it in everybody's face. And being someone who never wanted to do direct sales, I signed up on accident. I don't want to be on somebody's face about, buy my makeup. But I realized that I'm really passionate about this makeup. And last night I was standing in front of the mirror and my husband and I were just chatting and I'd taken a shower and we were getting ready for bed. And I was looking in the mirror and I looked at him and I said, I really like this makeup. And it made me realize like, I'm not trying to sell it to my husband. I'm not trying to convince myself there's no one else in the room. I genuinely love this makeup. And so I was like, don't be ashamed of whatever it is that you're doing. So whether you are serving the Lord out loud, or whether you are selling a product, you're in direct sales, or whether you are, whatever it is that you are doing, however you are parenting, whatever it is, you do what you're passionate about. And I have become passionate about, number one, being a PI. I'm really good at it and I love it. But I realized over the last several years of doing makeup as a PI, my passion, I learned, was helping other women feel confident in a way that I never did. So I want to be someone who helps women feel confident and have confidence in their makeup, because that's what I'm good at, is makeup. So if I can share that, but also give other women like the ability to feel confident in themselves and be the woman for other people that I never had for myself. And that's what I want to do. So that's what I came to that like realization. And then kind of reading that in that book, I was like, holy crap, like that's a lot, right? So anyways, I just had to share that with you guys because I just thought it was so, so cool. So if you want the name of the book, I'll send it to you, but it's What Happens When Women Say Yes to God. It's a devotional and it's by Lisa Turkert. I don't know how to say her last name. Thank you, Jana. Yeah, and help us to avoid the dogfish. So whether you listen to the podcast, whether you're here for makeup, whether you're here for PI stories, whatever you're here for, I just want everybody to know that like you're welcome here. Like this is a place for you and you belong here. So anyways, so I do want to do a makeup tutorial, but I had to start with that because I was really excited to kind of share that epiphany. It's an epiphany, right? Like when you realize something, you're like, Eureka! The last epiphany I had, you guys, I was cleaning my makeup brushes and I didn't have a paper towel, but I had a puppy pad because my dog was being pee-pee pad trained or whatever because she's a little baby. And I had a pee pad and I used that to clean my brushes. It was clean. And I was like, Eureka, this is brilliant. And so one of the first videos I posted was, I was like, you can use anything to clean your brushes. Just clean your brushes. Hey, will you turn on the fan, please? It's a little warm. Thank you. Oh, is the switch on? The switch has to be on. Anyway, so I had to share that with you guys. So let's do some makeup. And yesterday on the video that I did, I used one brush on one side of my face and one brush on the other side of my face. How long did it take you to get your lash routine? My lash routine, I guess about 1 or 2 tries, but then once you do, it's really easy. It's just like anything. It's the same with the makeup. Once you do it a couple of times, you're like, oh, I get it. Thank you. So anyway, so let's talk about this makeup. And I just have such a passion for this makeup because I see how it helps women to make things easier. So yesterday I used the 3D brush to kind of show how a denser, more tightly packed bristles will create a more full coverage look, whereas a fluffier brush will give you a little bit more of like a feather light kind of situation. So you can do it really either way you want, and you've seen me do it with the smudge brush where I apply all the colors and then I use another brush to kind of blend it. No, there's no SPF. There is titanium dioxide, but I have some really great options for sunscreen. This is my everyday. It's an SPF 36. This is the Elastin. I use this under my makeup as a primer and it's a good SPF. So I use the Lashify, the EE, the Extra Extreme, and these are 17, 17, 16, 15. That's the size of them. So yeah, if you want just type the word lashes by itself and it'll send you my discount link. Okay, so now I want to use an even differenter brush. That's what I was about to say, an even differenter brush, to show you another method of applying your makeup. So like I said yesterday, I did a full coverage. I would say medium to full coverage, the 3D brush, right? And then this one is a little bit fluffier, so you just kind of dust it on. This one is another one of my favorites. This is the detail brush, and it kind of looks scary in my opinion. Like it looks really intense, right? Milani makes a what? Type the word lashes, not just lash. I have it set up so that it triggers, so when it sees the word lashes, it'll automatically send you the link. I tried to do that to help my audience. Like I wanted to serve my audience better so that they weren't waiting as long to get responses. And sometimes my little robot, he don't do a good job, so I'm sorry. So this is the detail brush. All of Saint's brushes are double-ended, okay? This one is dense. You can see that just like the 3D brush, it's tightly packed, it's dense, it's a little less. Oh, a spray SPF. Those are good too. If you have blonde extensions, only use the mineral or else they'll turn your hair orange. I don't know, not the hard way. So this is a 3D brush. It's a little bit more rounded. The detail brush is a little bit stiffer. It's a little bit of pain, but it's like I've been heat compressing it like he said. So it's just in a little bit of pain, but we're getting there. I'll just keep doing that. Thanks, girl. Let me know if you don't get that lash link. Thank you for asking, Maggie. The bump is still there, but I'm still heat compressing. Okay, so with this detail brush, it has these edges for a reason. And one of them is to get the detail on your face. So I'm going to show you how to use these edges. And we're going to start with our contour. And with this cream makeup, I'm using my brush on the side to pick up that contour on the side like that. Because then I can use it like this. So whenever you use these brushes, see how there's not a lot of product? It's just on the tips of the bristles, right? You don't need a whole lot. A little bit will go a really long way. and you find your cheekbone. And the easiest way to find your cheekbone is when you take your brush like this and you come over the top. That's your cheekbone. So that's where your bronzer goes. Your contour goes where it falls in. See where that brush falls in from the top and it goes into that little hollow? That's where your contour goes. I can't seem to get my contour to be distinct and not muddied. You could be using the wrong shade of contour, or it's not dark enough. So we can totally play with the different shades. If you're not crazy about a shade, when you get it and you play with it and you're like, I don't like this one, we can totally swap it out. So just text me and be like, hey, I'm not liking this. It could be a matter of over blending. Maybe you're not blending enough. Maybe it's too cool and you need something warmer, and that's totally something I can help with. So just message me and be like, hey, I want to work on this, and I'll help you troubleshoot all that. So my contour, little bitty. And get a darker contour. You can have many. I use multiple. I use Olive, Astoria. I know, isn't it cool? Now watch. So where that hollow is, I'm just going to tap on my contour. It's possible. Well, what happens is we see the color and we're like, oh, that's a lot. And then we start to like swirl it all around to blend it, right? So you see how I just applied my contour right there? This is a really great way if you're a beginner and you don't know where the contour is. Like, you don't have to worry about the curve and all that stuff. Like, just find a line and just tap it in there, right? Then we'll do the other side. So tappy tap tap, a little bit more on my brush, and find that contour, tappy tap tap. So we're just doing little lines, right? So you see my contour lines here and here. Once you learn where you like your contour, then it's just muscle memory, and you do that every day. And I recommend trying it in a different place every day and seeing where you like it. But many times, like if the Lord forgets your cheekbones, like you forgot mine, you just kind of pop it underneath there and it makes it look like it's lifting your cheekbone. I come along my hairline, and this is going to create like a pretend shadow. Like, I don't have a shadow there, but I want it to appear like there's a shadow there. So I'm just putting this dark color right here. So if you literally just tappy tap tap. This is the bronzer, by the way. It's more orangey. This is the contour. It's cooler and a little more gray. So that's how you apply your contour. Tappy tap, tappy tap on your skin. So you can see how whenever, I don't know if you guys saw the Scuba Steve video, put on your goggles, right? Like you're going scuba diving. Everything outside of the goggles, that's where your contour goes. So contour sits outside of your goggles. Bronzer sits where the goggles suction cup to your face, and then it's bright inside. So really, really cool trick. So I need to repost that video. Okay, I have my contour. So we're putting shadows, right? Same brush, tappy tap. And where this area of brightness is from where the light is hitting my face, I'm going to hug that with my contour. So I'm going to bring these shadows closer together to make my nose look a little bit more structured. And look how much. See how I'm just using the edge? I'm literally using the edges of the brush to add my contour, right? Now this is cream, so it's really, really forgiving. So when you apply it, if you mess it up, unlike liquid or powder, you can just wipe it. It's fine. Like I promise you, you're fine. The same thing here, and then come a little bit under the lip. So once you learn what way you like to apply your makeup, it's easy peasy lemon squeeze. Then you just do it that way every single day. So now, instead of swirling to blend like you would think that you would want to do, we're just using our brush. See the stiffness of it? It's not allowing me to bend the bristles that much. We're just lightly flicking. So this is what I mean when I say blend up to Jesus. Bring the contour up. If you bring the shadow down, it's going to make your face appear like what do you call it? Drooping a little bit. Anyways, I say blend it up to Jesus. So use the stiffness of the brush to kind of blend that contour. And then as you kind of go around, you just tap. See how I'm just tapping that into my skin? And so what'll happen is once you put on all of your shades, you'll see how they all work together. So for right now, I've just applied my contour. Super scary contour, right? Really, really easy. So I will match you to these shades, and then I'll help you learn how to apply it. So try not to be intimidated by the makeup. Even though I know it's different than what we're used to, when you try it this way, you use less makeup because it's like so pigmented, you need very, very little. and you can get a really beautiful dimension, which helps us to look younger. It helps us to look more glowy and youthful and all the things. Okay, same brush. This is my detail brush, and I used the edges to apply my detailed contour. Tap it in, a little bit of stamping, right? Now I'm going to use the smaller end of my detail brush. Hold on, I got a fuzzball in it. And now I'm going to use the lightest color. So I just used the darkest color. Now I'm going to the lightest. The lightest color you might know as concealer. We're going to call it a brightening highlight. This is going to brighten where we want it to brighten. So if you treat your makeup like a powder, you will not over apply. So fluffy brush, lightly sweeping into your brightening highlight, or even if you just tap into it, you want to think about see how there's not very much, it's just on the tips of the bristles. You're transferring the pigment from the top of your makeup to the tips of your bristles, and then from the tips of your bristles to your skin. So we're not swirling, we're not painting, like we're not painting a wall, we're not doing like we did with liquid foundation. So here you just come in the corner and lightly sweep, lightly feather, kind of tap that color there. And I do not personally, I do not apply it right here in this like bag area, because that's where we're more dry. That's where we're more crepey, and it's very, very thin skin, and it can lead to like texture and all these things. So I kind of come down the nose and just lightly feather. See, I'm not jamming it or like doing it all kinds of crazy. I've seen how y'all do your makeup. It's wild. It's wild. So lightly tapping or lightly sweeping just to get it on the tips of the bristles. And then come here in the corner and bring it down under the bag. So you know how they, like on the YouTube videos, they do like the triangle? Kind of the same, just avoid the bag line and just feather it out from the nose. So what's happening is this area is going to be really, really bright. That's what we want. We want this area to be really bright and everything else to be kind of contrasting. So highlighting and contouring is just a little bit of pushing and pulling of lights and darks, but it's not complicated. But I think sometimes it makes it hard to like watch some of the, like if you've ever watched the YouTube tutorials and some of the influencers, they kind of make it seem really hard, right? But this is really easy. Hey babe.
You're back a little bit.
Where are you going?
Get some juice.
Okay, love you. Can you bring it icy? Thank you, babe. So same thing with this. Lightly. I use the same brush and I tap into my brightening highlight, and I'm going to put this right there in that little bit skin line. Just boop, 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 boop. See, that's where my brightening highlight goes. So everywhere, the light that's hitting my face, it's already enhancing those areas and it's already creating these shadows. I'm just enhancing them so that when I turn away from the light, I still have the benefit of those highlights and contours, right? Just now it's with makeup. And so you're really just accentuating what's already there. So with this, you can lightly just kind of sweep to blend this. Do a little sweepies here. And then you can just do a little sweepies here. So when you apply your main shade, or what you might call foundation, we call it a main highlight. It's your main shade. It's your main bread and butter for the look. But it's kind of cool because you see how you can just kind of lightly sweep all of the colors together and they just melt. See, and you see how that, remember I showed you that light was hitting and it was like really wide right here? I just narrowed it by hugging. I hugged this white bright line with my contour and then just did a skinny white line. So I just kind of enhanced it and just like brought it in a little bit. It's not super literal and it doesn't have to be. Like you just kind of do, and if you don't want to contour your nose, friggin' don't. Like do whatever works for you. Like do what makes you feel confident, you know? So when I color match you, I'll match you to a contour, which, do I need contour? Really? I don't want to contour. No, you don't need contour, but do the freaking contour. It really, really helps to give you a really beautiful shape and just enhance those shadows. Chef's kiss, you'll love it. And then the brightening highlight in the center. So, darkest color, lightest color. Now I'm going to use my main highlight, my main foundation, the Bad Mama Jamma. Same, I'm going to use this fluffy, smaller end. Tappy, tap, tap. Just the tips, right? So just the tips of the bristles, the top of the makeup. So I'm transferring the makeup from here to here. I'm not digging. I'm not scooping inside of it. Like it's all just on top. You just grab it. And then whatever I got on my brush, I just kind of put it here. So this is being applied everywhere else. So I put my brightening highlight here and my contour here. I'm just filling in everywhere else with my main shade. So when you see me applying my main shade, you might notice that it's a little bit darker than my skin tone. And it's like, that's a little bit darker. Like that doesn't match, right? With liquid foundation, we want it to match kind of perfectly. Like because the liquid foundation that's the opacity of the liquid foundation, it stays the same. Like it's not going to blend out more sheer. Like that is the color of the foundation. With cream makeup, it's going to get a little bit more sheer as you blend it, so it's going to lighten. So if your cream makeup matches your skin tone, it's probably much too light. So you'll see how a shade that appears much too dark is actually where you want to go. And this is where you have to trust me with the color match, because I know what I'm doing. I know it's hard because you're like, no, that's too dark. She's crazy. I'm not doing that. But if you just trust me, I'm telling ya. Chef's kiss, baby. See how I'm just lightly filling in? If I do my whole face just with no eye makeup, 3 minutes or less. Like there's no reason oh, I stepped on my dog bowl. I have a big dog who's like 100 pounds. She's a black Labradoodle. And then I have a little dog who's like 3 pounds. And the big fat moose, the Labradoodle, she eats all the dog's food. So I have to keep a little stash under my desk, under my vanity, so that the baby can actually eat, or else the big fat one will steal all her food. So yeah, like 3 minutes. It should really not take you longer than that. Okay. So see how I applied my brightening highlight, my contour, and the main highlight kind of goes everywhere else, right? This detail brush, the same one that I use to contour, I clean my brushes every couple days, but I do a lot of tutorials, so it's usually more often. But once you start seeing your brush kind of get a little bit more caked with makeup, go ahead and just do the spray cleaner, and then it's instant. It's instantly dry, it's antibacterial, and it cleans it instantly, and there's no downtime. And then like maybe once a month, if you do the brush soap and then the soap and water, rinse it, lay flat to dry for like a day. Okay, so same brush that I used in my contour. I'm not going to clean it off. I'm just going to go straight in and blend, okay? You don't have to clean your brush in between. You just don't. This is not like a paintbrush where you dip it in the paint and it's wet and then it's not dry yet and then it mixes. It's not like that, okay? So I'm going to use this brush just to tap my makeup in. I'm going like real slow-mo so you can see. So whenever you tap this in, they all just kind of melt together, right? And because of the stiffness of this brush, it's not allowing me to like swirl, because these aren't, see how they're like, I want to bend, but also don't bend me. That's because they're not meant to bend. So we're just using the stiffness to just kind of press into our skin. So whereas if you use a fluffy brush to blend, you'll get a little bit more sheer. But see how I'm just pressing these colors in with using the stiffness of my brush. See? Super easy, super light. I am not dragging any makeup across my skin. I am not swirly whirling like a crazy. I'm not doing anything wild. I'm just lightly tapping. Everything blends together. So pretty. And see how that color looked really, really dark and even a little orangey? But look how it sits on the skin. So when I tell you, you gotta trust me with the color match. I really need you to trust me with the color match. Okay. So now I'm just continuing to blend. The colors do not mix. You just press them in. You can use the same brush. I'm telling you, just use the same brush. It's totally fine. I come over my eyelids a little. You don't have to, but yay! I'm so glad you love it. Isn't it so pretty? And this makeup really will build your confidence in makeup, because it's just, I know it looks hard because it's different than other makeup, but once you do it a time or two, you're like, oh, like I really didn't need that much, right? Thank you so much. Aren't they cute? I love these things. I'm a 4th of July baby, so I like the stars and all of that stuff. So see how everything is just melting together. You don't have to do a lot of crazy work, a lot of crazy like blending. You're literally just pressing everything right where it sits into your skin. Pretty cool, right? So that's just these 3 colors. So each color provides coverage. They're all the same consistency, which is how they blend together. They melt together. So when you have liquid foundation, right, and it evaporates because there's alcohols in it, this makeup doesn't have alcohol, so it doesn't evaporate. It just kind of sits really pretty on your skin. So when you have your liquid foundation, it evaporates. So now you have this layer of, let's call it paint, just for the visual, layer of paint, and then you come in with another layer of paint, which is like your concealer, right? Or your contour or whatever, and then another layer. Before you know it, you have all these layers of colors. Whereas this makeup, because it's all the same consistency, when you put another color, even if you put another color on top, they're all just kind of melting together just to create this really beautiful blend. And you see where like my contour is. You can use lighter contour. I like it a little heavier, but this makeup is buildable, so you can do it light or heavy, literally whatever you want. And you will absolutely love the confidence that you feel when you walk by a mirror and you'll be like, dang, okay. It's really cool, I'm telling you. So I do makeup too. So like for weddings and proms, anything. Like I'm a makeup artist, right? And I notice that when I do someone's makeup, what do? They smile a lot. They take a lot of selfies. They FaceTime people, and they're like, look, and they just want to like show off their face, right? And then when they get home, they're like, can you just come to my house and do my makeup every day? I felt so pretty, right? And you can't recreate it, but this you can. So that's why I love the empowerment that this makeup gives, is because whenever you apply it once and you feel so pretty, you feel confident when you take off your makeup. Number one, because your skin is hydrated, because there's no alcohol. There's only like 11 ingredients. But then you know that when you wake up the next day, you can do it again. You can get that same little boost of confidence that a little makeup can give, you know? So anyways, really nice way to apply your makeup. And this is just the detail brush. That's the only brush. And so this one is used to kind of press in for a little bit of a fuller coverage because it's more dense. So now let's say I want to apply my blush. Let's say I only want to use 4 colors and I just want to apply blush. Let's take this color called Nude. And I'm just going to tap it, right? So I used my small end to just pick up a little bit. Now I'm going to use the big end and just tap it right in. This is just 4 colors on your skin. That's all it is, just 4 colors. Your contour, your brightening highlight or concealer, whatever you want to call it, your main highlight, which is like your foundation, and then your blush. So everything's in one layer. Those 3 colors are in one layer, and then I added blush just right on top. And that's it. Like, you can be done with your makeup. Look, you have really pretty color. You have really pretty dimension. You're bright in the center. So we look alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic, and that's how we want to look, right? So that's a really great way to just do a really simple makeup. So if you want to build a palette, by the way, these are only $16 each. So when you build your palette, $16. So I can help you build a palette, or you can get one of the pre-made collections. The pre-made collections they look kind of like if you get a small one, it looks like this. It's just like 4 colors, and then it comes with like a brush. It's like $107. It's really affordable, I promise. And then whenever you run out of something in like 6 months, it's $16, just replace it. Makes it really easy. And then there's other collections, like there's different sizes. So if you want like more colors, then you have like this one has 8 shades. So this one has the summer shade. If you start noticing that your skin is looking a little bit more textured, or your makeup's just looking a little bit light, go ahead and shade up for summer. And on my color match form, like comment the word match to get a color match. And whenever you get my color match form, it will give you an option. It says, do you want me to go ahead and match you for your color, for your summer color? Go ahead and hit yes. And then you can decide based on your budget if you want to add that now or later. On Wednesdays and Soulmate. Yeah, do you mean to swatch them for you? They're a little bit, they're close, but they're not exactly the same. Hold on. This is On Wednesdays, and this is Soulmate. I got it under my nail. This is On Wednesdays, and this is Soulmate. On Wednesdays, Soulmate. Soulmate packs a bigger punch. So that's On Wednesdays, and that's Soulmate. A little bit more intense on the Soulmate. But both are really, really pretty. They're very similar, but a little bit more intense. Oh, unicorn. I am so sorry. I forgot to do a unicorn for you. This one's unicorn. That's unicorn. And these colors, you guys, like, don't be intimidated by any makeup color ever, because you can always apply really lightly and get a really light color. Like, it doesn't have to be super intense, right? Okay, so now let's say I want to add bronzer. I'm a bronzer girl. I love bronzer. And we're going to still use our detail brush. I'm going to take this bad boy, flip it over to the small end. We're going to tap, tap, tap into my bronzer. Bronzer is going to sit on the high point of my cheek. So where the contour goes in that hollow, the bronzer is going to sit on this top, this high point. And I'm just putting it right over my blush. It doesn't, you can put blush and bronzer together. It's fine. And I just go on the high point of my forehead, the high point of my cheek, and just tap it in. So easy, so pretty, just tappies. See how you get a little bit more warmth? It adds just a little bit of dimension. Oh, that's contour. Bronzer, 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 tap, tap, tap. Top of the cheekbone. Contour, contour. I mean, I'm getting it mixed up. Bronzer, bronzer, bronzer. So for warm. And then tap it right in. It looks really scary at first, but when you press it into your skin and it just kind of melts in. When you shade for contour, just one shade up will do. So it depends, because with Saint, it's not like liquids where you just go up to the next shade. So it depends on like if you want warmer or cooler, which is why I oh, the bracelets, I'm sorry. That would be really fun, actually. So if you go up from, like, let's say you wear olive, right? But then you shade up, you wouldn't want to go to stone because that's really red. So then you probably want to go up to Astoria, which is darker, but still, you know, it just depends on like where you're at. But if you send me your selfie, or if you just text me and say, hey, what color should I go up to? That's my goal, is to help you individually determine what colors you need. So that way I usually just say, hey, let me get a selfie. And yes, there's a More Anything color blush. You listen, pick your poison, sister. There's a gajillion. So many. There's so many blush colors. There's this one that there's Madrid. That's this one here. There's, oh my God, there's so many. Hold on. Now I want to play with coral. There's Tiger Lily. Hold on. Let's do, hold on a minute. Let's do Saint Tropez. Let's do Madrid. So this one is Madrid. She's kind of a corally. She's really pretty too. I love the corals for summer a lot. Isn't that pretty? Oh, sangria is really pretty too. A lot of people are scared of sangria because it looks really red, but it can be really, really light. Look, I'll show you one of my favorites that I slept on for so long because I was like, that's too dark. Was this royal color? It looks really dark, right? Bye, Tammy. It's so good to see you. Thanks for popping on. Look. That's that dark, dark royal color. They're not, I'm telling you, they're not that bad. They are really, really pretty. So many people get terrified when I'm like, I match them to those colors and they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to pass. And I'm like, no, please do it, I'm telling you. And then just more add-ons that you can add in your palette. There's an illuminator. Illuminator is just a really great way to add a little pop of color where like the light catches. So like maybe on top of your cheekbone. Hi, baby. Ooh, let my husband see that. Fella. Gots to go. We're going to tap this here. This is Rose Gold Illuminator, and it just adds a little pop of glow. I really highly recommend Illuminator, especially for summer. And also, if you want to wear makeup this summer but not a full face, get what I like to call the summer glow kit. You build these palettes yourself, so you can customize it. But this one's good for many light to medium skin tones, and if you have a darker skin tone, I can help adjust this for you. But it's Bella Bronzer, Rose Gold Illuminator. This is Baby Watermelon Lip and Cheek, and I have two color correctors here. So this is just like literally taking this brush, coming into all three of these colors like so, and just tapping it on all over. and that's it, like with no other makeup, and that's your whole face, and then just color correct what you need. It's a really great alternative to like a full face of makeup. And then just, you can add different colors, like different lip and cheek colors or different whatever. For me personally, I like to also use setting powder. I like to use setting powder right here in the inner corners. So see, my brush is covered with makeup, but look, it's not transferring. I'm telling you, it's fine. And then just tap this right here. This kind of gives you a blurred kind of finished look, like a filtered kind of look, shall I say? The makeup is the filter. Really, really pretty, and it just gives you a little bit more dimension because you have everything. Your cream makeup is creating this really beautiful, youthful glow, and then you have it mattified right there, so it just creates a little pop, a little extra pop of dimension. Really, really beautiful makeup, really easy makeup. I highly encourage you to try this makeup. It is so easy to learn, and also you get me. Like, I'm not just gonna be like, hey, here's your makeup, like, see ya. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you buy makeup from me, we're friends. Like, we are friends. You are stuck with me. And then in this particular palette, I just have a couple of basic eyeshadows that I like to keep on hand. And they're just it's kind of an easy look to do. So however you build your palette, you can build it as big or as small as you want. This one is the size 12. So if you're looking at palettes, and by the way, when you put makeup in your cart, you'll get a credit. The more makeup you add to your cart, you'll get a palette credit commensurate with the amount of makeup that you buy. So you don't have to pay full price for your palette. But anyways, this is the size 12. The dark. Oh, I can totally show you those. There's so many options, but these are, a lot of these, this is the back. A lot of those are not on the site right now. Those were like limited editions, but there's all kinds of shades. Like this one is black cherry, but see how she's not really dark? She looks black on the website. So these are glosses, and then down there at the bottom is like the satins, and then you continue into some more like just gorgeous shades. Like, when you go on the website, look at the ones that you want a swatch of. I have swatches of all of them. So just text me and be like, hey, can you send me a swatch of this or whatever? I literally put on every single color and took a picture so I could show you. So I have that for you if you need it. I need to update that, by the way. Okay, so then this color, this color's not butterscotch. No, Sedona, my bad. This color is Sedona. This is Chai. This one's Sedona. And I'm just using my eyeshadow brush just to kind of tap these colors on. If you have a hooded eye, just bring it up onto the hood. Super easy eye look. Anybody can do this makeup. Like, obviously give yourself a chance to learn it. But after, 2 or 3 times of applying your makeup, you should, like 2 or 3 minutes and you're out the door, which like a lot of people aren't really in that big of a hurry, but it does make it much more convenient.
See you in the morning.
Are you leaving?
I'm going to the Staples.
Oh, okay. Okay. Love you. Bye. So this is Lullaby. I'm tapping this in here. And you just kind of, whatever colors you like. And it's just one brush. Just kind of tap it on. And then I always use this shimmer shade called Drift. It's my favorite inner corner shade. And see how it just like creates a little bit of a pretty pop? Anybody can do this makeup. I'm telling ya. Anybody. Like if you are a makeup newbie or a makeup dummy, or even if you're a makeup pro, like anybody can do this makeup. It does not matter. It makes it so easy for everyone. See, and then you just have a really pretty easy makeup look. And then I recommend using setting spray just because I love setting spray. I just swear by it, but you shouldn't need setting spray, but use a darn setting spray. I just think setting spray does a great. I'm in Florida, so I do that, whatever. But anyways, yeah, so if you want a color match, or if you want swatches of certain makeup or whatever you need, you want a new color for shade, you want a new shade for summer, just text me. I am so available to you guys just text me and say, hey girl, I need help with this or whatever. That's literally my job. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm passionate about. And I would really, really love to help you. And you can build, like I said, you build your palette as big or as small as you want. It's ain't your mama, do what you want. You know what I mean? Makes it really fun and easy. So anyways, thank you for joining me today. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to text me. I'm here for it. Okay, I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.